You're tuning in to Kids Church Online.
I'm Mula.
And I'm Jamie.
And today we're going to be talking about how Esther Speaks said.
But that will be after a time of worship.
You're watching Life Tree Kids.
Free like a bird in the big blue sky, not a cloud or a care for a million miles. I won't worry about a thing. God loves me and he loved me first. He rescued me when I was in a lurch, and I won't worry about a thing. To the left I'll fly, fly, fly. To the right I'll glide, glide, glide. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. I'm gonna swoop down low, low, low. Then I'll soar up high, high, high. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. Free like a bird in the big blue sky, not a cloud or a care for a million miles. I won't worry about a thing. God loves me and he loved me first. He rescued me when I was in a lurch, and I won't worry about a thing. To the left I'll fly, fly, fly. To the right I'll glide, glide, glide. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. I'm gonna swoop down low, low, low. Then I'll soar up high, high, high. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. To the left I'll fly, fly, fly. To the right I'll glide, glide, glide. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. I'm gonna swoop down low, low, low. Then I'll soar up high, high, high. Oh, and I won't worry about a thing. Yeah, and I won't worry about a thing. Whoa, and I won't worry about a thing.
We are continuing to speak about some people who spoke up in Bible times. Today we are going to look at Esther. We're taking it from the book of Esther, chapters 1 to 10. In Persia, that's current day Iran, there was a king who could be rather bad-tempered. He used to get angry, and the thing is that he would make important decisions while in a foul mood. There was a time that he threw a party. It was a grand party. And he decided that he wanted to display his wife, the queen, in front of all his friends. So he sent for his wife, and his wife refused point blank to come out to be paraded before his guests. Oh, this made him really angry. So he made a law that he would never see this wife again, and that she would no more be queen, and that someone else would take her place. The search for a replacement began. Now, in Persia, there was a Jewish orphan girl who was being looked after by her cousin, Mordecai. Her name was Hadassah, but the name that she was known by in Persia was Esther. She was one of the hundreds, probably thousands, of girls who was put before the king to be chosen to be queen. Her cousin Mordecai had warned her not to let anyone know that she was Jewish, and she obeyed. Guess what? The king chose Esther to be queen. There was a time that Mordecai overheard some people plotting to do away with the king. Mordecai told Esther. Esther in turn told the king. The king got this investigated, and it was found to be true. And it was noted. Esther made sure that it was noted by the king that it was Mordecai that had saved his life by revealing this plot. There was a man who really, really, really hated Mordecai. And that was because Mordecai refused to bow down before him. This person's name was Haman, and he was an important person, and he let his importance get to his head. Everyone bowed down before him once he passed by, except for Mordecai. And that's because Mordecai, being a Jew, obeyed God. He obeyed God because God said that we shouldn't bow down to any person, that the only person that we should bow down to is God. Haman found out that Mordecai was a Jew. This made him hate all Jews with a passion, to the point that he decided he was going to set a day that Persia was going to get rid of all the Jews in the kingdom. This was not good. This is because the Jews had found out that Haman had made the king sign a law so that this would happen. And in those days, once a law was signed by the king, it couldn't be changed. Mordecai was sad, and he told Esther what was going on and asked Esther to go and speak to the king so that something could be done about it. Esther was scared because no one could speak to the king or approach the king unless he's the one that has called for that person to do so. And if they did, they won't be alive anymore. But Mordecai said, look, do you think that if Haman succeeds, that you, who is a Jew, would be spared? How are you so sure that you aren't queen right now for a time such as this? So Esther called for help. She asked for all the Jews to go on a fast, and she and her maidservants would also go on a fast too. After a little while, she dressed up in her queenly robes and went before the king. And the king put his scepter out towards her and said to her, what do you want? Anything you want, I will give you. I will do for you. Fast forward in the story, Esther was successful. She had succeeded in speaking out. All the Jews were saved. This is a really interesting story, and you'll be able to get it in the book of Esther, chapters 1 to 10. For today, that's the end of the story.
Wow, wasn't it incredibly brave of Queen Esther to go and speak up to the king like that? Do you think she felt all kind of wibbly inside when she did it? Or do you think she felt strong? Well, I think even though she had to go alone, I think she felt strong because she wasn't really alone, was she? She had all of her family and friends were praying for her, and that meant God was there with her too, woven into her life. So I thought we would do some weaving today. It makes this lovely pattern, maybe like the beautiful fabric of the royal robes that Queen Esther wore, but it also reminds us when we have to do something hard, like speak up, we're not alone. Actually, God is there, woven into our life, isn't he? So to make one of these, start by choosing a piece of paper the size that you want. So I'm using a 5. Next thing to do is to fold it in half like this and decide how big you want this border at the top and the bottom. So I'm making that 2 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is just measure 2 centimeters up from the bottom and draw a line across like this. The next thing to do is decide how wide you want these strips, and again I'm making them 2 centimeters. So I'm going to take my ruler and mark off every 2 centimeters, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and I'll do that at the top and at the bottom all the way along and join those lines up. So I've got something like this. Now you can see I've got a little extra bit at the edge which doesn't fit into my 2 centimeter strips, so I'm just going to cut that off. Right, once you've got something like this, the next thing we're going to do is cut down each of these strips, but stop when you get to this line at the bottom. And you'll end up with something like this. And when we open up that, we're ready for starting our weaving. But first, we need to make all of these strips to go woven in. So choose the colour of paper that you want for your strips that are going to go through, or you could have more than one colour. And again, you want to draw out 2 centimetre lines. Okay, so they're going to be the same, these bits going this way are the same width as those bits going that way. Once you've got these, you need to cut these out. Now I'll show you a little trick. Rather than having to cut them all out separately, if you cut down one that's kind of in the middle, and then we can put that on top of there, and we can cut down another one and put that on top of here, and then we'll cut down, and each time we're getting to cut out more and more at once. And there we have it. Loads of strips ready for weaving. So to do the weaving, take your kind of background piece of paper, and we start just by going over, under, over, under. First one's just a bit tricky, isn't it? Under, over. There we go. Now, the next one, I'm sure you know, should go the other way. We start over there, which means we start under here. But actually, it's much easier and quicker once you've got one in to do some other ones that are the same as that. Look, if I lift that up like that, I can just put that one in. And if I lift it up again, I can just put another one in. Oops. And it's much quicker. So there we go. You can get 3 or 4 put in like that. Probably if you're doing A5 like me, you'll probably need 4. And then if we spread those out, and now we can weave the other ones in the gaps. Now the other ones are going to be a bit slower, but that's 4 in already. So now we'll take Another one, and this time we are going to go the other way. So this is over, so that means we're going to start under. Peel that through. And each time we're going the opposite. So where we went over before, now we're going under. Where we went under before, now we're going over. And this is where it's good. Don't make your strips too narrow. I think 2 centimetres is good. And there you can see we can push that one up, and then we can push this one up that we already put in. And now we'll take another one, and that started over, so we'll start off under, and on we go. Now, once you've got the whole lot woven in like this, the next thing you want to do is take some glue and stick down these ends. You can see how that's sticking up. We don't want that sticking up like that. So stick down all the loose ends on one side. And then turn it over and stick down the loose ends on the other side. There we are, so those are nicely stuck down. And then you can see I've got these little scrappy bits at the edge. So the last thing that you need to do is just trim those so that it's a nice straight edge all the way along. And there we have it. A beautiful pattern fit for a queen's royal robes, and a good reminder that actually, even though on our own we might feel a bit weak and wobbly, with God with us, when we've got people praying for us, we're very strong. So I hope you enjoy doing some weaving. You can experiment with all different colours of paper to make it look really beautiful, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.
This speaking out thing can be a bit scary at times.
Why do you say that?
Well, when you're speaking out, you're usually up against some very powerful people.
That's right. When speaking out, it can either go right or terribly wrong. Whichever way, it needs to be done with respect and care.
Like Esther, she refused to speak out at first because it was dangerous for someone to approach the king without the king calling them first.
Yes, that's true. But Esther didn't just go and do it. She did the right thing though. She got people to fast with her before meeting with the king. And that's what we should do. We should always pray before we do anything challenging.
It went well. Actually, it went very well in the end.
That's true. You can read the rest of the story in Esther chapters 1 to 10. That's it for this week.
Till next time, bye!